Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today I will be reviewing the Rossignol Juggernaut. This board is equipped with Rossignol's AmpTech Elite camber profile, so what that means is it's pretty much as close to a full camber board as possible, but they did add a tiny bit of rocker on the nose and the tail just to help with getting in and out of turns just a little bit easier. But what that's pretty much going to do is it's going to leave all that pop, snap, and stability that you're looking for out of a true cambered board. This board comes in a 152, a 155, a 158, and a 162. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was a sunny day when we first got there. It was pretty firm conditions with brand new fresh groomers that literally got ridden off within a few hours, I would say. As the day went on though, it did get warmer and softer where it wasn't like slushy or anything, but you could still lay your edge in and really trust it. I used my Ride Fused boots and my Jones Mercury binding. When we're talking overall flex on this board, it is coming in at stiffer than the middle of the road, I will say. On the nose and the tail, it is slightly softer just because of that little rocker zone, or that micro rocker zone we'll call it on here. But just be prepared for when you are foot steering it, trying to really micro adjust this thing, it's gonna take some effort. It is definitely stiffer underfoot there, so you're gonna put some effort in. Now when we translate that into stability, I expected it to be actually more stable than it was, where it's a very lively board. I felt every little bit of uneven surface I rode over, and it really got a little bit skippy on me on those uneven conditions, and even those icier conditions, it didn't really want to dig in as much as I thought it would for it being like a big jump board that wants to go fast. When you're loading this thing up to ollie, the main thing is there is a sweet spot on it, I've learned, where if I loaded up this tail fully and fully extended my knees, it felt a little loose and it felt like it was gonna buck me, where I didn't feel very stable. The landings, was able to put it under my feet and not have too much of a problem with it, but it was all about finding that sweet spot for me. If I didn't ollie enough, it wasn't really giving me any energy back, so just keep that in mind. And that pretty much directly translated to the jumps, where I kept it on the medium jump line all day, and it took me a few runs to figure it out, where if I popped too much, I was getting launched to the moon, getting thrown off, like pretty much off balance, and if I popped too little, I was barely making it to the landing. So this board definitely has that sweet spot, but when you're taking off, it did feel smooth. I could set my edge to spin and it was totally fine. And same with the landing, I could lay that edge down and know that it's gonna stop my rotation, but it was just all about finding that little perfect sweet spot on this board. Make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of the videos we have coming out. When you're pressing or buttering on the tail or nose of this board, you'll notice that it feels like you're almost manualing on a skateboard, where it's not gonna be as easy on like your standard regular snowboard where you can just lean back and it's gonna hold you. I had to really get it on that tiny sweet spot of that rocker zone on the contact points here, where it just kind of wanted to balance there, and I had to do a lot of shifting of the hips, that sort of thing. When I took it on rails and was like tail pressing and nose pressing, I definitely felt like I had to do it with quite a bit of speed, where if I didn't have enough speed, it wanted to just set right down on me, and it was pretty much fighting me the whole way. I wouldn't say it was super aggressive fight, but it definitely had more to it. When I slid it sideways, it was totally fine. I didn't really get bucked off or anything like that, where I expected it, since it is that bigger jump board, for it to be a little bit more rigid and kind of just buck me off the rail, where it held pretty well. It slid possibly a little bit to the side if my weight was off, but overall it still held the rail really well. I expected this board to handle the carves a little bit better. On those short carves, it was fine. It really didn't have anything special about it, where it held them, it was comfortable, that sort of thing. When you got to those medium and larger carves at high speeds in uneven conditions, this thing was getting bounced around a little bit. I didn't feel super precise or anything like that, where I couldn't just set the edge and know I was gonna stay on that line. It felt like it kind of wanted to wander a little bit on me, especially on those icier conditions. It will Euro carve, but just make sure that you really set that edge, keep that weight right in the middle here, and just stay low and be powerful. Rider in mind, this board is made for that advanced park rider. They're gonna go hit all of those big features, to the big jump line, the half pipe, to even just that large rail section. They're pretty much gonna live in the park the whole time and really not take this board all mountain. If you're looking for another way to support us, why don't you head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I thought this board was all right. I actually liked the Retox better. I thought it was a more aggressive board, where this one just lacked. I like the older version of this thing better, where this one, it just doesn't feel as precise. It doesn't feel as snappy and pretty much as good of edge hold on it. So it was all right. I do think there are better big jump boards out there. So it is what it is. I think you guys should definitely go back to the way it was. Comparable boards, the Capita Super DOA, the Salomon Huck Knife Pro, and the K2 Hypnotist. Recommended bindings, the Union Atlas, the Salomon Highlander, and the Yes Airmaster. This has been my review of the Rossignol Juggernaut. If this board isn't for you, or you just need to do a little bit more research, why don't you check out that large portfolio of videos we have, and I'm sure you'll find something you like.